All right, let's talk about exiting your business. For most people, the words exit plan bring to mind something that's way, way off in the future, an ending. But what if I told you that's all wrong? What if your exit strategy is actually the single most powerful tool you have for growing your business, starting right now? So why is this such a big deal today? More than ever before? Well, to get that, we need to zoom out a little. Because believe it or not, we are smack in the middle of the largest transition of business ownership in history. Seriously, there's this massive wave building, and it's about to change everything.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really get the scale of what we're talking about, just look at this breakdown. The baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964, they just completely dwarf the other generations of business owners. And as they all start hitting retirement age, millions, and I mean millions, of businesses are going to be changing hands over the next few years. It's a shift like we've never seen before.
Look, this isn't just some abstract economic trend we're talking about. If you're a business owner watching this is a very, very personal question. It doesn't matter if you plan to sell in 2 years or maybe 20 years from now. The entire market is shifting under our feet, and the big question is, are you ready for what that means?
To get ready, we've got to start by completely blowing up our old definition of what an exit even is. For most of us, that word just means one thing. The day you sell the company, get a check, and walk away. But honestly, that's a dangerously small piece of the puzzle.
Now, you look at this traditional definition, and it sounds pretty reasonable, right? But here's the trap. This way of thinking frames the exit as some distant future event. It's just a task on a checklist for someday. And that mindset, it makes it really, really easy to just keep putting it off, thinking it has nothing to do with running the company day to day.
And boom, this is it. This is the whole problem in a nutshell. Every single decision you make, who you hire, how you market, your operations, all of it has a direct impact on how much your business is worth and how easy it'll be to sell one day. By treating your exit like this unintentional event, you're basically letting all those little daily choices accidentally dictate your biggest financial outcome, instead of you being the one in the driver's seat.
So, okay, this brings us to the big aha moment, the paradigm shift, the one idea that completely flips the script. We've got to stop thinking about exit planning as a separate thing and start seeing it for what it truly is, our core business strategy.
It's this simple. The old thinking says an exit is a future event. The new thinking says an exit is today's strategy. The old way is all about the act of selling. The new way, it's about the daily work of growing the value of the business. This is exactly why we say exit strategy is business strategy. They're the same thing. And this new strategy, it's built on a really simple but powerful idea, the three-legged stool. See, a truly successful transition isn't just about the business numbers. It's about finding this perfect balance between your goals for the business, your personal goals for what you want your life to look like, and, of course, your financial goals. If any one of those legs is too short, the whole thing just tips over.
Okay, so that all sounds good in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Well, there's a fantastic framework for this, and we can break it down into something I call the 5-4-3-2-1 code. Think of it as your practical, step-by-step playbook.
Let's kick off our countdown with the number 5. This stands for the 5 stages of value maturity. It's basically a roadmap that lays out the entire journey for a business and its owner, from the very beginning of just figuring out where the value is, all the way to managing the wealth you create from it.
So you've got these 5 stages: identify, protect, build, harvest, and manage. You see how it's a whole life cycle, right? You start by identifying what really creates value in your company. Then you put things in place to protect that value. Then you get to work actively building it. Then comes the harvest, which is your transition. And finally, you manage the wealth that you've built. It's a complete process.
All right, next up, 4. The number 4 represents the 4 intangible capitals. Now, these are like the hidden engines of your company's value. They're the things that don't always show up neatly on a balance sheet, but to a buyer, they are incredibly valuable.
And get this, because this is really interesting. For most companies today, something like 80% of their total value is actually tied up in these 4 things. It's not about the trucks and the desks anymore. It's your customer capital, think recurring revenue, your human capital, your amazing team, social capital, which is your brand and reputation, and structural capital, all the systems and processes that make the business run like a well-oiled machine.
Coming in at number 3, we have the 3 critical gaps. Okay, this is where the strategy gets really personal. Because to get where you want to go, you first have to be brutally honest about the distance between where you are today and where you need to be.
And it all starts with you, not the business, you. The wealth gap is all about figuring out what you actually need for the life you want to live after you transition out of the business. It's the difference between the assets you have right now and the assets you'll need to be truly financially free.
Okay, so once you know your personal target, your number, then we can turn to the business. The profit gap measures the distance between your company's profits today and the level of profit it needs to be hitting to be worth your target number. You see? This connects your day-to-day operations directly to that ultimate goal.
And that, of course, leads us to the big one, the value gap. This is what you get when you put the other two together. It's the simple difference between what your business is worth today and what it needs to be worth to close your personal wealth gap. This number? This becomes your North Star. Your entire strategy is now focused on one clear goal: closing this gap.
Now, on to number 2. This represents the two parallel paths that you have to walk simultaneously through this whole journey. They are both absolutely crucial, and you will not succeed if you only focus on one.
You've got the business path, which is all about working on the business, not just in it. You know, building those systems, strengthening those intangible capitals. But just as important is the personal path, working on your life, figuring out what you're passionate about, what's next for you, and getting yourself mentally and emotionally prepared for a huge life change. You can't neglect one for the other.
And that brings us to the end of our countdown. The number 1. This is the single, unifying goal, the one thing that ties this entire playbook together.
Your number 1 goal, above all else, is to drive transferable value. So what does that mean? It means building a business that doesn't just make money, but that can continue to thrive and grow without you there every day. Let's be honest, a business that completely depends on you isn't an asset, it's a job. A business that runs without you? That is a valuable transferable asset.
So when you really put all these pieces together, you realize this is about so much more than just a financial transaction. It's a journey from one phase of your life to the next. It's really a journey from success to significance.
But here's the thing. Without this kind of intentional, proactive approach, the outcome can be, well, it can be pretty grim. Check out this statistic. It's absolutely staggering. 75% of owners profoundly regret selling their business just 1 year after the sale. And it's almost never about the money. They miss the purpose, the identity, the people, the whole shebang.
The strategy we've laid out here, that's the antidote to that regret. By making sure your business goals, personal goals, and financial goals are all in sync, you're not just getting ready for a sale, you're actively designing the next chapter of your life. The real goal is to move from just being successful to being significant, and to make sure that future is genuinely fulfilling.
So we're going to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. It's really the ultimate test of all of this, and it's the core question of this new playbook. What is your business worth without you? The answer to that question is the key to your company's future, and more importantly, to your own.